Volkswagen has expanded its Touareg range, dropping the entry price by 10 grand with this, the 190 TDI version. So, what has been stripped out of the equation, and does this make for a better, or worse, Touareg proposition? Where the Touareg Launch Edition nudged 90 grand as standard and stretched to 6 figures fully optioned, the 190 TDI enters at a more palatable 79,490 before on-roads. What does the base car miss out on from the Touareg menu? You get steel spring suspension rather than the air suspension with adaptive dampers on pricier versions, and 19-inch wheels rather than the larger 20 inches. You lose the techie Matrix LED headlights and dynamic indicators. And rather than the lush Savona leather with seat massaging functions, you get mid-grade Vienna trim. There are a few other detailed differences, but essentially the bad news finishes there. The fully independent steel suspension has a real comfort focus, and many buyers will actually prefer the ride quality on these 19-inch wheels. All of the lighting on the outside is still LED, and there's nothing about it that really looks down market. And the same goes for the inside. It's nothing about the design material choice or the features in the cabin that suggest cost cutting. The Vienna leather might be quite as tactile as the Savona trim you get on the higher spec versions, but it's still pretty decent, and you get seat heating. So if you're wondering where the big dual screen panoramic Innovision display is, that's an $8,000 option, even on the top spec premium version. And I can think of a lot better ways to spend $8,000, like a home theatre system or a trip to Europe. The 9.2-inch Discover Pro navigation system looks smart, has a great reversing camera and features phone mirroring. And you get this nifty miniature digital screen in the driver's display. It's only a 5-seater, which might seem strange given that you actually have to go down to a Tiguan in the Allspace to get 7 seats. But what it has got for 5 adults is plenty roomy. But there's tons of stuff. So you get dual air vents, a little rubberized cubby, dual USB, 12-volt power, couple of cup holders, plus handy window blinds. So no third row of seating, but you do get a decent 810 litres worth of boot space, elasticized netting for your groceries, 12-volt outlet, little hooks for your grocery bags, remote levers to drop the rear seats, which liberates 1,800 litres in total, plus powered tailgate like the top spec version. Nor does the base version skimp on the wide-ranging safety gear offered on other versions. It gets all-speed AEB with pedestrian monitoring, adaptive lane keeping, both rear and front cross-traffic alert systems, as well as premium conveniences such as adaptive cruise control and park assistance. Crucially, you don't get shortchanged in the powertrain. The entire range gets a 3-litre V6 turbo diesel, producing 190 kilowatts and 600 newton litres of torque. But you're out of luck if you want a petrol version. The engine's tied to an 8-speed automatic and permanent all-wheel drive, plus you get a choice of drive modes for on and off-road. Speaking of underneath, it sits on the same architecture as Audi has with its Q7 and Porsche uses for Cayenne. Now, the hardware and the tuning is going to be different, but there's a real kinship between how those 3 SUVs drive on the road. It's not a particularly large unit, but it does feel so from behind the wheel. A lot of that has to do with a high window line and dash and the quite flat bonnet, which makes it a little bit difficult to judge in tight traffic. The ride comfort is really good and really soft, if for a bit of trade-off in body control. Hit a speed hump and the body gets a bit of a wobble on. Turns out that the 190 TDI is a very nice and impressively comfortable SUV that might have a semi-premium badge and pricing, but doesn't really cut any corners in the upmarket experience. And while it's not all the Touareg that good money can buy, it doesn't really suffer for lacking any bells and whistles. In fact, I wouldn't go plonking down 6 figures on something with a premium German badge without first looking at what Volkswagen can offer for $80,000 bucks.